The kitchen clock read 2:17 a.m. when I heard Vivian's car pull into our driveway. Again. For the third time this week, my wife was coming home from another emergency marketing meeting that somehow required her to shower before getting into bed with me. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I'm Elias Stone, 33 years old, freelance programmer who works from the basement of our slightly rundown house in Millbrook, Maine. While Vivian climbed the corporate ladder at Hayes & Associates Marketing, I debugged code and pretended not to notice how our marriage was slowly becoming another project I couldn't fix. "You're up?" Vivian's voice carried that edge of annoyance she'd perfected over the past 6 months. She stood in the kitchen doorway, her blonde hair perfectly styled despite the late hour, designer heels dangling from her manicured fingers. "Trip got canceled," I said, gesturing to my laptop. "Client in Portland decided they didn't need the website update after all. Funny thing, though, you left your phone on the counter." The color drained from her face. "Did you look through it?" "Nah, but it kept buzzing. Thought it might be important." I took a sip of cold coffee, watching her scramble for the device. "Lots of texts from someone named Arthur. Isn't that your ex-boyfriend's name?" Vivian clutched the phone against her chest like a shield. "It's complicated, Elias. Arthur wants to meet up and discuss some things. You don't need the whole story." "Arthur Vance? The wilderness guide with the trust fund and the mountain lodge?" I leaned back in my chair, feeling something cold settle in my stomach. "The same Arthur who used to call you his girl even after you married me?" "It's not what you think. What I think is that my wife is having late-night emergencies that require hiking boots and overnight bags." I nodded toward her purse, where I could see the corner of silk lingerie peeking out. Unless Hayes & Associates started a very interesting dress code. Vivian's jaw tightened. "I don't owe you explanations for every conversation I have." "You're right. You don't owe me explanations." I stood up, closing my laptop with a soft click. "But you might want to turn off location sharing on your phone. Find My Phone shows you've been spending your marketing emergencies at coordinates that match Arthur's cabin pretty exactly." For a moment, Vivian looked like she might deny it. Then her expression shifted into something I'd never seen before. Cold, calculating, almost relieved. "Fine. Yes, I've been seeing Arthur. We're figuring things out." "Figuring things out?" "Whether we made a mistake, whether I made a mistake." She gestured vaguely at our kitchen, at me, at the life we'd built together. "This isn't working, Elias. You have to see that." I felt something snap inside me, but it wasn't anger. It was clarity, crystal clear, ice-cold clarity. "You know what, Viv? You're absolutely right. This isn't working." I walked past her toward the stairs, pausing at the doorway. "Enjoy your weekend with Arthur. I'll be here when you get back. We'll figure things out then." She looked surprised, maybe even disappointed that I wasn't fighting for her. "That's it? You're just going to let me go?" "I'm going to let you make your choice. But understand something. Choices have consequences. And I'm really, really good at consequences." I left her standing in the kitchen and went upstairs to our bedroom. Through the window, I could see Mrs. Braddock's house next door, her curtains twitching. Our neighbor never missed anything that happened on Maple Street, and she had a network of gossips that would make the CIA jealous. 20 minutes later, I heard Vivian's car leave again. I checked my phone. Her location was moving north toward the mountains, toward Arthur's cabin. That's when I stopped being her husband and started being her reckoning. Saturday morning brought Rain and Benny Rodriguez knocking on my door with coffee and donuts from Murphy's Bakery. Benjamin Rodriguez had been my best friend since high school, a loyal mechanic with arms like tree trunks and a heart bigger than his ancient pickup truck. "Heard through the grapevine that Vivian's playing house with Arthur Vance," he said, settling his bulk into my kitchen chair. "Mrs. Braddock called my mom at 6 a.m. You know how that woman loves her drama. News travels fast in this town." I bit into a chocolate donut, realizing I hadn't eaten since yesterday. "What else is the grapevine saying?" "That you're either the most understanding husband in Maine or the most clueless." Benny studied my face. "But I know you, Eli. You're neither. You're planning something." "Maybe I am." I opened my laptop and showed him the screen. Joint bank accounts, credit cards, streaming services, cloud storage, home security system. Guess whose name is primary on everything? Benny's eyes widened. "You're cutting her off." "I'm giving her the independence she clearly wants." I clicked through screens, changing passwords and security questions. "She wanted privacy? She's about to get more than she bargained for." "What about the house?" "Bought it with my inheritance from Grandpa Stone. Vivian's name isn't on the deed." I felt a grim satisfaction as I revoked her access to our joint accounts. She can figure things out with Arthur's trust fund. Benny leaned back, whistling low. Remind me never to cheat on my wife. You're scary when you're calm. I'm not done yet. I need a favor. Name it. Your cousin Maya, the travel photographer. Didn't she just get back from that modeling shoot in Florida? Yeah, she's freelancing now. Does travel photography and some modeling work? Why? I pulled up a travel website and started booking. Because I'm taking that canceled trip to the Caribbean this weekend, and I'm going to need some very specific photos taken. Benny grinned. Oh, this is going to be good. 2 hours later, I was at Benny's auto shop on the outskirts of town, watching him tinker with a beat-up Jeep that looked suspiciously like Arthur's pride and joy. Found it abandoned on Route 9 this morning, Benny said with exaggerated innocence. Funny thing about these older models, they're real sensitive to certain substances, sugar in the gas tank, for instance, or fish guts in the air conditioning system. That would be terrible, I agreed, especially if someone wrote something embarrassing on it with biodegradable paint. Biodegradable is key. Environmentally responsible vandalism. My phone buzzed with a text from Maya. Benny explained the situation. I'm in. When do we leave for paradise? I typed back, tomorrow morning. Pack your best bikinis and your camera. We're going to make some memories. Linda Morrison appeared in the shop doorway, looking nervous. Linda worked at Hayes & Associates with Vivian, handling the firm's social media accounts. She was also someone who'd never liked my wife's condescending attitude toward the support staff. Elias, I heard about... Well, everyone's heard. I wanted you to know something. What's that? Vivian's been lying to Randall about her sick days. She told him she had food poisoning last weekend, but I saw her Instagram stories. She was at some fancy restaurant in Portland with a guy who definitely wasn't you. Randall Hayes, her boss? He's obsessed with the company image. If he knew she was lying about sick days to hook up with her ex... Linda shrugged. Let's just say he doesn't tolerate scandals. That's interesting information, Linda. Thank you. There's more. She's been using the company laptop for personal stuff. I manage the IT security, so I see the browsing history, dating websites, hotel bookings, even researching divorce lawyers. I felt that cold clarity settling over me again. Linda, how would you feel about accidentally leaving some printouts on Randall's desk Monday morning? What kind of printouts? The kind that show what his star employee has really been doing on company time. Linda smiled for the first time since she'd arrived. Accidents happen all the time in offices. That evening, I sat in my workshop in the basement, surrounded by computer monitors and the detritus of a dozen programming projects. I'd always been good with technology, but tonight I was using those skills for something more personal than debugging code. Social media accounts updated, travel reservations confirmed, automatic email responses scheduled. By the time Vivian returned from her romantic weekend, she'd find a very different world waiting for her. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Having fun at the cabin. Don't wait up. V. I typed back, don't worry, I won't be here when you get back. Enjoy your weekend. The response came quickly. What do you mean you won't be there? I attached a photo of my boarding pass for the morning flight to St. Thomas and hit send. Then I turned off my phone and went to pack for paradise. The beach at Megan's Bay was everything the travel brochures promised. White sand, crystal clear water, and enough tropical beauty to make anyone forget their troubles. Maya Rodriguez was a photographer's dream, with sun-streaked hair and the kind of effortless beauty that made cameras love her. Okay, Eli, I need you to look like you just won the lottery, she called out, adjusting her professional camera. Not like you're plotting revenge. Save the villain face for later. I'm not plotting anything. I'm documenting my newfound freedom. I stretched out on the beach chair, genuinely relaxed for the first time in months. This is what happiness looks like. Much better. Now put your arm around me and laugh like I just told you the funniest joke in the world. Maya was a natural in front of the camera, but she was also brilliant behind it. She understood exactly what we were trying to accomplish with these photos. Not fake romance, but genuine joy and companionship. The kind of images that would make anyone wonder what they were missing. Tell me about her, Maya said during a break as we sat under a palm tree sharing a bottle of rum punch. Vivian? She's smart, ambitious, beautiful, also critical, image-obsessed, and apparently unfaithful. I watched a pelican dive for fish in the surf. We met in college. I was the computer nerd. She was the sorority president. Somehow it worked for a while. What changed? She got promoted to account manager, started making real money, moving in different circles. I stayed the same, Basement-dwelling programmer in a small Maine town. Guess I didn't fit her new aesthetic. Maya lowered her sunglasses and studied me. Her loss. You're funny, you're loyal, and you're not bad-looking when you're not scowling. Plus, any woman who cheats on her husband with her ex-boyfriend has serious issues. Thanks for the ego boost. I'm serious. Now smile and let me get some shots of you actually enjoying yourself. We want these photos to tell a story. The story we told was simple but effective. Successful man on a solo vacation, clearly thriving, obviously not sitting home pining for his cheating wife. Maya's professional skills made every shot look natural and spontaneous, even though we carefully planned each one. Perfect, Maya said, reviewing the images on her camera. You look like a man who's exactly where he wants to be. Because I am. I realized as I said it that it was true. For the first time in months, I felt like myself again. That evening, as we sat at a beachfront restaurant sharing conch fritters and watching the sunset, I posted a single photo to my public social media account. It showed me and Maya laughing on the beach, the Caribbean sunset painting everything golden. The caption read, "Sometimes the trip you cancel is the one you needed most." It's paradise. New beginnings. Downed. Best decision ever. My phone immediately started buzzing with notifications, but I ignored them. Whatever Vivian's reaction was, I'd deal with it when I got home. You're really doing this, Maya said, watching me put the phone away. I'm really doing this. Good. She deserves everything that's coming to her. Sunday afternoon, as our plane descended toward Portland International Airport, Maya showed me the final edited photos on her tablet. They were stunning, professional quality images that told the story of a man rediscovering happiness. I'll upload these to my portfolio website tonight, she said, along with some strategic social media posts. By tomorrow morning, half of Maine will have seen them. And the other half? Mrs. Braddock will make sure they catch up. I laughed, feeling lighter than I had in months. Remind me to send that woman a fruit basket. Save your money. She's getting paid in gossip, which is worth more than fruit to someone like her. The drive back to Millbrook gave me time to think about what came next. Vivian would be home soon, expecting to find me waiting like a faithful dog. Instead, she'd find locked doors, changed passwords, and a husband who'd moved on faster than she'd thought possible. My phone had been buzzing constantly since we landed, but I hadn't looked at the messages. Whatever panic or anger Vivian was feeling, it could wait until I was ready to deal with it. You sure you want to do this? Maya asked as we pulled into my driveway. Once you go through with the rest of your plan, there's no taking it back. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Then let's finish what we started. That night, I sat in my workshop reviewing the messages I'd ignored all weekend. Vivian had progressed from confusion to anger to panic as she realized the scope of what was happening. Where are you? Call me immediately. This isn't funny, Elias. We need to talk when I get home. The final message, sent just an hour ago, was different. I'm coming home. We're going to fix this. I typed back a single response. Check your email. We'll talk tomorrow. The email I'd sent contained photos from the weekend, copies of the changed account information, and a lawyer's contact information. But most importantly, it contained the new lock's installation receipt and a simple message. You wanted to figure things out with Arthur. I figured I'd give you the space to do that properly. Tomorrow, Vivian would come home to find that the life she'd taken for granted had disappeared as completely as her loyalty. And that was just the beginning. Monday morning brought Mrs. Braddock to my door with fresh coffee cake and barely contained excitement. Our 70-year-old neighbor had clearly been waiting for this moment since dawn. Elias, dear, I hope you don't mind me saying, but you look wonderful. That Caribbean sun did you a world of good. She bustled into my kitchen without invitation, setting down the cake and settling in for what I recognized as a premium gossip session. Thank you, Mrs. Braddock. The trip was exactly what I needed. I'm sure it was, and that lovely girl in the photos, Maya, isn't it? Benny's cousin, such a beautiful young woman, very photogenic. She's a professional photographer and a good friend. Of course she is, dear. Now I don't want to pry, but Vivian came by yesterday evening. She seemed quite upset about the locks. I sipped my coffee, waiting for the real information. Mrs. Braddock never led with her best material. She was crying, actually, standing on your front porch with her suitcase, trying her key over and over. I felt so sorry for her that I almost went over to help. Almost? Well then, I remembered seeing her leave Friday night with that overnight bag, and I thought perhaps there was more to the story. Mrs. Braddock's eyes twinkled with malicious delight. Was I right to mind my own business? You were absolutely right. I thought so. She ended up going to that new apartment complex on Harbor Street, the expensive one with the doorman. Arthur's place? I wouldn't know about that, dear. But I did see a very nice Jeep in the parking lot. Or at least it used to be nice. Someone had done something terrible to it. Painted words on it and everything. I managed to look surprised. What kind of words? Oh, I couldn't possibly repeat them. Very inappropriate. And the smell, like something had faded in the air conditioning. My phone rang before I could respond. Vivian's name appeared on the screen. Excuse me, Mrs. Braddock, I should take this. Of course, dear, I'll just finish my coffee. I answered the phone, putting it on speaker since Mrs. Braddock was obviously going to listen anyway. Elias, we need to talk, right now. Good morning to you too, Vivian. How was your weekend? Don't play games with me. I can't get into the house, I can't access our accounts, and half the town has seen those photos of you with that girl. Her name is Maya, and they're very nice photos. She's quite talented. This is ridiculous. I'm your wife. Are you? Because wives don't usually spend weekends at their ex-boyfriends' cabins while their husbands think they're at marketing conferences. There was a long pause. Mrs. Braddock leaned forward, not even pretending to drink her coffee anymore. I made a mistake, okay? Arthur and I, it was a mistake, but that doesn't give you the right to lock me out of my own house. Actually, it's my house, bought with my inheritance, deed in my name only. You're welcome to visit, but you'll need to call first. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. I've never been more serious about anything in my life. Fine, I'm coming over. We're going to discuss this like adults. I'll be here. But Vivian, you might want to check with your boss first. I heard there were some questions about your recent sick days. The line went silent. Mrs. Braddock was practically vibrating with excitement. Oh my, she said. This is better than my soap operas. An hour later, Linda Morrison called with an update from Hayes & Associates. It's chaos here, she said, barely containing her laughter. Randall found those printouts on his desk this morning. Browser history showing dating sites, hotel bookings, personal emails during work hours. Then someone anonymously sent him links to your beach photos with a note saying, "This is what Vivian's husband was doing while she was supposedly sick with food poisoning." Someone? Maya's very good with anonymous email accounts. Anyway, Randall called Vivian into his office 20 minutes ago. I could hear the shouting from the break room. And? She's been suspended pending a full investigation into misuse of company resources. Randall is furious about the potential damage to the firm's reputation. I felt a grim satisfaction settle in my chest. That's unfortunate. Gets better. Apparently, Arthur Vance called the office this morning, screaming about his Jeep being vandalized and demanding to know if Vivian had given anyone his address. Randall was not pleased to learn that his suspended employee's personal drama was spilling over into the workplace. It sounds like Vivian's having a difficult day. It's about to get worse. She just pulled into the parking lot and she looks like she's been crying. Oh, and Elias? The whole office has seen those beach photos. Everyone's talking about how happy you look. After Linda hung up, I sat in my kitchen, waiting for the confrontation I knew was coming. Mrs. Braddock had reluctantly returned to her own house, but I could see her stationed at her front window with a pair of binoculars. When Vivian's car pulled into the driveway, I was ready. She looked terrible. Red-eyed, rumpled, still wearing the same clothes from her weekend getaway. Her usually perfect hair hung limp around her shoulders, and her makeup was smeared from crying. "Let me in," she said when I opened the door. "Of course, come in." She pushed past me into the kitchen, then whirled around with an expression I'd never seen before, desperate, furious, and scared. "You destroyed my life." I didn't destroy anything. I just stopped pretending that we had a marriage worth saving. Those photos... Do you have any idea how humiliating this is? The whole town is talking about us. Actually, they're talking about you. I'm just the husband who moved on faster than expected. Moved on? It's been 3 days. It's been 6 months, Vivian. 6 months of late nights, mysterious phone calls, and you treating me like I was something embarrassing you had to hide. I leaned against the counter, feeling calmer than I had any right to. I just stopped hiding. I lost my job. You lost your job because you lied to your boss and used company resources for personal business. That has nothing to do with me. Arthur's Jeep? What about it? Someone destroyed it. Painted horrible things on it. Put something disgusting in the air conditioning. He thinks you did it. I shrugged. Arthur's Jeep is Arthur's problem. Maybe he should park it somewhere safer. Vivian stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. What happened to you? You used to be... nice. I used to be stupid. There's a difference. So what now? You're just going to throw away 8 years of marriage because of one mistake? One mistake? Vivian, you've been planning this for months. Dating websites, divorce lawyers, secret weekend trips. The only mistake you made was thinking I was too pathetic to do anything about it. She opened her mouth to argue, then seemed to deflate. I need somewhere to stay. Arthur's apartment seems nice. We had a fight about the Jeep, about you, about everything. He said I brought too much drama into his life. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. There's a hotel on Main Street, or you could call your sister in Boston. Elias, please. I know I messed up, but we can fix this. We can go to counseling, work things out. No, we can't. Because I don't want to fix it. I want to be done. You can't mean that? I've never meant anything more in my life. She stood there for a long moment, tears streaming down her face, looking lost and broken. Part of me wanted to comfort her, to take back everything I'd done and pretend we could start over. But then I remembered the lies, the betrayal, the months of feeling like I wasn't good enough for my own wife. That part of me was very small and very quiet. I'll pack some things, she said finally. Your clothes are in boxes by the back door. I had them ready. She looked at me with something approaching hatred. You really planned all this out, didn't you? I learned from the best. You've been planning your exit strategy for months. I just executed mine faster. As she loaded her boxes into her car, Mrs. Braddock appeared on her porch with a watering can, obviously taking mental notes for her next round of phone calls. This isn't over, Vivian said, slamming her trunk closed. Yes, it is. She drove away without looking back, and I stood in my driveway feeling something I hadn't experienced in months. Peace. But I wasn't done yet. Not even close. Tuesday morning brought the kind of autumn weather that made Maine famous. Crisp air, brilliant blue sky, and leaves turning colors that belonged on postcards. It was also the day of Millbrook's weekly farmers market in the town square, where half the population gathered to buy overpriced vegetables and catch up on gossip. I'd been planning this moment since Sunday night, and everything was falling into place perfectly. Maya arrived at my house early, carrying her camera and a devious smile. Ready for the grand finale? More than ready. You sure about this? Absolutely. After what she put you through, she deserves everything that's coming. We walked to the town square together, drawing stares and whispers from everyone we passed. The beach photos had made their rounds through social media, and apparently half the town had opinions about my rapid recovery from heartbreak. There's Mrs. Patterson from the library, Maya whispered. She's been staring at us for 2 blocks. Let her stare. By tonight, everyone will have something much more interesting to talk about. The farmers' market was in full swing when we arrived, with vendors selling everything from organic apples to hand-knitted scarves. More importantly, it was packed with people, including several of Vivian's former friends and colleagues. Benny was waiting for us by the coffee stand, grinning like he'd won the lottery. Everything's set up. You sure you want to do this in public? Public is the whole point. Vivian always cared more about her image than anything else. Time to give her the audience she deserves. And Arthur? Should be arriving any minute. I may have sent him an anonymous message suggesting that Vivian was spreading rumors about him around town. Maya raised her camera. This is going to be epic. I didn't have to wait long. Vivian appeared at the edge of the square, looking haggard but determined. She'd clearly spent time trying to repair her appearance, fresh makeup, styled hair, clothes that screamed, successful professional woman. But there was desperation in her eyes that no amount of cosmetics could hide. She spotted me immediately and began pushing through the crowd with single-minded focus. Elias! Her voice carried across the square, drawing attention from every direction. We need to talk. I turned slowly, making sure everyone could see my calm, almost bored expression. Hello, Vivian. Enjoying the market? Don't you dare act casual with me. She stopped directly in front of me, close enough that I could see the fury and panic warring in her eyes. You ruined my life. I didn't ruin anything. I just stopped enabling your lies. A crowd was gathering now, phones appearing as people realized they were witnessing premium small-town drama. Mrs. Braddock had materialized near the apple stand, looking like Christmas had come early. You humiliated me. Vivian's voice was getting higher, more desperate. Those photos, the locks, getting me fired. How could you be so cruel? Cruel. I kept my voice level, reasonable. I went on vacation while my wife was cheating on me with her ex-boyfriend. You humiliated yourself. I made one mistake. You made 6 months of mistakes. I just gave you the audience you've always wanted. That's when she snapped. Vivian drew back her hand and swung at me with all the force of her frustration and rage. I caught her wrist easily, holding it firm but not painful. The crowd gasped, phones capturing every second. Next time you want to cheat, I said quietly, loud enough for the crowd to hear, Pick someone who won't make you look pathetic when it falls apart. Let go of me. Gladly. I released her wrist just as Arthur Vance came charging through the crowd like an angry bull. He looked exactly like what he was, an overprivileged outdoorsman whose pride had been wounded along with his precious Jeep. You snake! Arthur shoved me hard in the chest, sending me back a step. You destroyed my car. I have no idea what you're talking about. I straightened my shirt, still maintaining that infuriating calm. Maybe you should park in better neighborhoods. I know it was you. Vivian told me. Vivian told you a lot of things, apparently. Did she mention she was married when she started sleeping with you? Arthur's face went red. He was bigger than me, probably stronger, but he was also furious and stupid. When he swung, it was wild and telegraphed. I ducked easily, and his momentum carried him straight into the display of pumpkins behind me. He went down hard, covered in orange pulp and autumn leaves, while the crowd erupted in laughter and camera flashes. Arthur! Vivian rushed to help him up, but he pushed her away. This is your fault, he snarled at her. I told you I didn't want any drama, and you brought me nothing but problems. But I thought... You thought wrong. We're done, Vivian. Find somewhere else to stay. He stormed off, leaving Vivian standing alone in the middle of the square, covered in pumpkin debris and surrounded by a crowd of people recording her humiliation. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Braddock announced to no one in particular, you can't make this stuff up. Vivian looked around desperately, seeming to realize for the first time how completely she'd destroyed her reputation. Former friends turned away, colleagues whispered behind their hands, and strangers pointed and laughed. This isn't over, she said to me, but her voice had lost all its fight. Yes, it is, I replied. It's completely over. She stumbled away through the crowd, and I watched her go with something approaching satisfaction. Maya slipped her arm through mine, and Benny clapped me on the shoulder. Feel better? Maya asked. I feel free. As we walked away from the square, my phone buzzed with a text from Linda Morrison. Saw the videos online. Randall officially fired Vivian an hour ago. Something about conduct unbecoming and damage to company reputation. Thought you'd want to know. I showed the message to Maya and Benny, who both grinned. So what now? Benny asked. Now I get on with my life. Better late than never. That evening, I sat on my front porch with a beer, watching the sun set over Millbrook. Mrs. Braddock was in her garden, probably planning her next round of phone calls to spread the news of the day's events. My phone had been buzzing with messages all afternoon, some supportive, some critical, all acknowledging that I'd done something remarkable. I'd stood up for myself in a way that would be talked about for years. Maya joined me on the porch, carrying 2 more beers and a satisfied smile. Any regrets? She asked. None whatsoever. Good, because half the single women in town are probably planning to ask you out now. Let them plan. I'm in no hurry. What about Vivian? Think she'll stay in town? I shrugged. Doesn't matter. She made her choices, and now she gets to live with them. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars appear in the darkening sky. For the first time in months, I felt like I was exactly where I belonged. Some trips are better canceled, I thought, especially when you're the baggage someone else wanted to leave behind. The phone buzzed one last time. A message from an unknown number. You win. I'm leaving town tomorrow. I hope you're happy. I deleted the message without responding and turned off the phone. I was happy. Finally, completely, unapologetically happy. And that was the best revenge of all.